If you're running a service business, you already know that communication is pretty much your lifeblood. But what if I told you that the way most of us are doing it is, well, fundamentally broken? Today, we're going to dig into an AI-powered approach that promises to turn that quiet contact list of yours into active, revenue-generating conversations.
Okay, let's just kick things off with a number that should really make you sit up and pay attention. Industry analysis shows that most service businesses are losing, get this, 60 to 80% of their potential revenue. And why? Simply because of a lack of follow-up with past customers and old leads. That is a staggering, almost unbelievable amount of money just being left on the table. And this brings us to what is probably your most valuable and, yeah, often your most overlooked asset, your existing contact list. Seriously, it's not just a database. It's a gold mine. It's filled with people who already know and trust you and warm leads who were interested at one point. But for most businesses, that gold mine is just sitting there almost completely untapped. And the reason that gold mine stays untapped? It's because pretty much every service business out there, doesn't matter the size, doesn't matter the industry, falls into one of three really common communication traps. As we go through them, just see if one of these sounds a little painfully familiar. So, let's break them down, these three communication traps. Because, understanding the specific problem you have is always the first step toward finding the right solution. First up is the one we see the most, just plain old radio silence. This is the business that gets so swamped with the day-to-day stuff that they just don't have a system to stay in touch. You finish a job and crickets. A new lead comes in and if they don't book right away, they're basically forgotten. And the financial hit from this silence? Oh, it's direct and it's severe. Your past customers? They forget about you, and they book with a competitor next time. Those warm prospects you paid good money to get, they go cold. And referrals, the best leads you could possibly get, they're just wasted without a timely follow-up. It's like having a constant, slow leak in your revenue bucket. All right, trap number 2 is what I like to call shouting into the void. This is the business that tries to fix the silence problem by sending out big email blasts. The monthly newsletters, the holiday promotions. You're doing something, sure, but is anybody actually listening? The data on this is, well, it's pretty clear. You might get a 5 to 10% open rate, and that's if you're lucky, which means 90 to 95% of all that effort is completely wasted. It's a one-way broadcast, it's not a conversation, and the results, well, they speak for themselves. Maximum effort for really minimal engagement. Now, the third trap is kind of the opposite of doing nothing. It's trying to do everything manually. You might have a person or even a whole team sending individual emails, making calls, texting leads. The intention here is great for sure, but this approach just creates a massive bottleneck. And the consequence of going all manual is that you hit a hard ceiling on your growth. You can only grow as fast as your team can type. This leads to really high labor costs, inevitable burnout from doing the same repetitive tasks over and over, and, of course, inconsistent follow-up. Some leads get all the attention, while others just fall right through the cracks. So, if silence doesn't work, and broadcasting doesn't work, and doing everything by hand just doesn't scale, what's the answer? Well, it requires a pretty fundamental shift in how you think about this, moving away from one-way broadcasts and toward two-way conversations. And this is exactly where a tool like Raia Control comes into the picture. It's designed to do one thing really, really well. Use AI to have actual two-way conversations with your contacts. And it does it through both email and text automatically around the clock. The goal isn't just to send out messages, it's to actually start dialogues. I love this comparison because it just makes the whole concept crystal clear. The old way, email marketing, is like putting up a billboard on the highway. You just hope the right person sees it, but you really have no idea. The new way? It's like having a dedicated sales team having a personal conversation with every single contact. It's the difference between being ignored and being truly engaged. So, you might be hearing AI conversations and thinking, whoa, that sounds incredibly complicated to set up. But actually, the process is designed to be, well, shockingly simple. It really is just these 3 steps. First, you spend about 15 minutes training your AI on your business, your services, your pricing, your company's voice. You basically teach it to be an expert on you. Second, you take about 5 minutes to upload your contact list. And third, you click launch. That's it. In about 20 minutes, your AI agent is live and it's starting those conversations for you. This is all great in theory, but what about the results, right? What really happens?
Let's look at the actual, tangible, measurable impact this has on the bottom line for real businesses. What's so powerful here is seeing how the benefits are tailored to different industries. For home services, it helps smooth out those seasonal slumps. For real estate agents, it can mean a 3 to 5 times increase in booked appointments. Contractors, they see a huge jump in quote conversions. And gyms can actually reduce member churn. The AI adapts to solve these very specific, critical business problems.
Let's just break down the math with this home services example because it's pretty powerful. Say it's a $1,500 monthly investment. That leads to 30 new jobs booked. With an average value of $500 a job, that's $15,000 in new monthly revenue. That is a 10 times return on investment. The system pays for itself many, many times over, and often it happens within the very first week.
See, this whole approach just fundamentally changes your sales funnel. By having these immediate, intelligent follow-up conversations, businesses are seeing a 40 to 60% improvement in converting a lead into an actual paying customer. No more leads falling through the cracks. It's just gone. And remember that untapped gold mine we talked about at the beginning? Well, this kind of system actively recovers 20 to 40% of revenue from past customers you probably thought were lost forever, and it does it simply by re-engaging them in a relevant, personal conversation. So ultimately, this all comes down to one thing: the financial health and the growth potential of your business. This isn't just another communication tool, it's a straight-up revenue engine. Which, brings us to a really critical question you have to ask yourself. Every day, every single week that you continue with radio silence or those ineffective email blasts or an overwhelmed team, what is the actual cost? How many appointments aren't getting booked? How much revenue is just being left behind? Let's just end with this thought because it really sums it all up perfectly. The technology is here. The ability to automatically and intelligently engage your entire contact list. It's now a reality. So the real question isn't if it will work. The question is, how much longer can you really afford to let that untapped gold mine just sit there idle?